You don't have to know anything about anything at all to watch this movie.
So that was a movie.
Are you sure?
My eyes may have deceived me, but I'm pretty sure that was a movie. Madam Web, what did you make of it?
Well, there were actors and things happened.
It's pretty fabulous.
I had heard going into this how bad it was, and I was kind of like, it's not going to be that bad. I was like, all right, this is probably just going to be like a Morbius or Venom 2 or Venom kind of a movie. And then, yeah, this was absolutely fun in the worst way possible. It was not good at all, but I had a lot of fun with it, in particular just because of the villain character who I had heard did like all his lines.
I'm sorry, just thinking about it days later.
It's insane. But I had heard that a lot of his lines were mostly just ADR, like where they added them one afterwards. And yeah, you can really tell. And that's the most fun part about this movie is it's literally Tommy Wiseau, The Room kind of delivery because it doesn't match with the face at all because it's added afterwards. But that's why it was fun to me.
It's really fun.
The way I've described this movie to the precious few people I have talked to about it, this movie, I don't think anything works. None of it. And yet, I had a marvelous time. I really did. From a filmmaking, storytelling, performance standpoint, none of it works. None of it. I personally just know too much about how these comic book movies have been made of recent memory, and you really see the seams here. I remember the story of Elizabeth Olsen on the set of Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, a movie I really like, personally. You know, the big scene where she kills a bunch of famous heroes? Apparently, she never met a single one of them. And that has stuck with me for the last couple of years, because you watch Madam Web, and there are scenes in which Dakota Johnson is supposedly talking to Celeste O'Connor, Sydney Sweeney, and Isabel Merced. And I don't believe she was talking to those women. Particularly, there are moments in a taxi cab where she's like passionately talking to them.
Passionately talking to
Supposedly, yeah, okay.
The direction might have been.
Yes, exactly. Every time she comes to a pause, there is a deafening silence of dead air.
That's not how it works.
They're not on the same set together. There's no way, certainly.
It's really easy to assume that just because the way they're in the taxi cab, it's like perfectly cut off to where it's like,
looking.
You got the like mirror thing that you look behind. And so it's like easy to just like, oh yeah, green screen here, green screen there, or however filmmaking works. It's really easy to be cynical about it because it's like all there for you. And
yes.
That's 100% why this movie doesn't work at all.
Yeah.
Is like they obviously went through and combed through it again multiple times, but like who knows how bad it was before then. This movie is really, really bad. I don't want anybody to think that I think anything about this movie worked. It was just really, I promise you, I had so much fun in the theater.
Me too.
Just listening to the offbeat lines that were like read in. Like it was like if I was to edit this video and then just be like, the apple tastes delicious. Like it was like that, but it was in a movie that I was seeing in a theater.
Typically, when you watch a late period Marvel movie, I feel like they do a
they
better
cut back
job
and forth.
of hiding it.
Exactly.
Whereas in this movie,
effort was made.
they were like, guys, we're kind of just doomed here.
It would have been better just to like focus on a lamp or something while he was talking. Like would it have been like, this is weird to watching this lamp? Yeah, but like it would have not made it as obvious that this movie was cobbled together in some crazy ways by whoever was messing with it. But yeah,
maybe they just knew they had a turkey and they were just like, no, Tahar Rahim, we will just
sacrifice you.
Yes, he is. No disrespect to Mr. Rahim. I don't know what he sounds like. I was very unconvinced that those words were coming out of his mouth.
Who are you? What is going on?
I wish I remembered the words and the lines. Like, I'm honestly genuinely excited to see like a compilation of all of his scenes because it's so fun. And like Dakota Johnson has plenty of lines like that too.
He was in the Amazon with my mom when she was researching spiders right before she died.
She's either doing some additional ADR or she's just delivering it ineffectually.
She's looking at like the box of memories of her mother that she never met, but she goes, I hope the spiders were worth it, Mom. That's
There's so many like that, and it's supposed to be like an emotional moment, but like it's just the way she delivers it, like she could care less.
A week ago, I spent my life racing against time.
It's just so funny every time.
This movie is so inept and curiously bad.
Like, I'd say this movie is worse than Morbius, but would I 1,000% rather watch this movie again?
Yes.
Yes.
Certainly. Yes.
Take that whatever you will. Maybe
know.
that means it's better, maybe it means it's worse, but that's how I would frame it. Johnson, I do like as an actor, and I think a couple of the indie stuff that I've seen her in has been like good performances. Like Our Friend was pretty
That
good,
movie's
and she's
good.
great. Cha Cha Real Smooth. Some people hated on it, but I was like really into it, and I liked her in it.
She's good.
But yeah,
she's good.
and like she's definitely probably the best part of
The
movie.
Lost Daughter, I don't know if that counts as an indie movie, but it's
Yeah,
good.
she's good in that one too. Yeah, so it's like she can definitely act.
And Suspiria, like
Yeah.
I'm in on her. Her and Jamie Dornan were in the same situation that Robert Pattinson and Kristen Stewart were in when they made those bullshit Twilight movies, where I was like, they're good. I know they're good. They will make it out of this okay. They did these movies to make a name for themselves so then they could go on to bigger and better things, which maybe that wasn't the original intention, but it also paid off. And I feel the same way about Dakota Johnson and Jamie Dornan, who have gone on to do pretty good work. I'm in on Dakota Johnson as an actress and more so as a personality.
I know that when you see Madam Web, you're gonna love it. In fact, I think you're gonna see it twice.
Like she's definitely got an it factor. Like I think.
I love her.
Yeah, and obviously her interviews, she's been saying whatever the hell she wants to, which good for her.
I'm just not good at talking to journalists. I think the big problem is that I say stuff and then they write it down, and it's really unfair.
The first piece of promo that I saw for this movie, it was her and then Madam Web posted behind her.
It's so exciting and fun, and I feel so proud to be a part of this film.
And then since then, she's just been like, yeah, I don't know if this is gonna be good. And I think that's marvelous.
It's just crazy how all the promos and stuff. It's like, oh, so there's these 3 Spider Women, and Madam Web is a part of this too, and this is what the movie's gonna be because duh, it's a superhero movie. It's Madam Web. Literally, the movie is not that at all. If you were honestly interested in seeing it because you wanted to see some cool Spider People vibes, and hey, there's 3 Spider Women in this. They're literally only in it for a minute of flashbacks, and it's super quickly cut and fastly paced flashbacks to where you can't tell really what's going on for any of it.
Right.
And that's that with all the action scenes, in my opinion. There's glimpses of, hey, this could have been cool and fun when they're in the diner and they're playing Toxic. That could have been a great scene, but there's no actual action in that scene.
There isn't.
The concept of it, if you pitch that to me and you're like, let's put that in a movie, you're like, oh shit, that could be awesome. And that's a lot of what this movie is. It's some of the ideas in this. Some people are like, ideas in this movie, that's crazy. But there are some of those where if you cared about it and you tried to actually make a movie, then those could have worked. But there was seemingly no real care about how this worked out. It was just hey, we need a movie to put in our time slot here for the calendar year, and we just want to keep the rights to Spider-Man while never being able to use Spider-Man.
That's right. Oh, they flirt with it,
But they never say it.
they never do it. This was my first theatrical outing of the year. I was saving myself for Madam Web. Argyle be damned. Madam Web is a 2-hour setup to a movie that's never going to happen.
It's basically a 2-hour setup to a setup movie, though. It's the dumb
Yes,
part.
it's so stupid. All right, so picture a good comic book movie. Spider-Man Homecoming. The events of Madam Web feel like something that maybe would have gotten a 2-minute exposition dump in something like Spider-Man Homecoming. Whereas in this case, it's an entire movie. It's not really a superhero movie.
A new kind of a superhero film.
It's basically just 4 women running, crashing a taxi into a building, crashing an ambulance into a man, fireworks. Maybe there was a vision initially. I don't believe so.
I don't understand what's happening.
The 3 heroes don't get any establishment. They don't get powers. They're just along for Madam Web's ride. Where does the name come from? What the hell?
What the hell?
It's a whole movie of baffling choices. That is it. From its conception, to its storytelling, to its characters, to its performances. Pretty much the entire time I was like, what is this?
You don't think this is weird?
Really, right from the opening, you're just it doesn't make any qualms or take any time to be this is a real movie.
Right.
It just immediately gets you okay, if you're paying attention, obviously the next hour and 50 minutes you're in for a lot of fun because none of this will make sense.
The first 5 minutes of this movie are baffling.
It's hilarious.
The editing, my eyes were I was just like, what?
just the way the lines are delivered and everything, like, and then just the stuff that happens, like in the very quick opening, it's just insane. Like, I mean, the way the spider gets taken and she like winces because she's pregnant. She's in the Amazon because which we later find out was super deep and important. Like, it's revealed later on in the movie in a very serious way that she's actually committing a very, very big sacrifice to save Dakota Johnson as Madam Web. And it's like, if you're into it at this point, that's a really gut-wrenching moment.
I just feel like SpongeBob and Patrick hugging each other going, "You do care," would have just summed that moment up.
You do care.
That could have been a brilliant stroke of cinematography.
It would have saved Dakota Johnson whatever effort she put forth into it.
That's pretty much what that part was. And then, like, just the whole, like, Amazon people, like, the spider people that are in the Amazon, like, in theory, it's like, if they made it, like, built up to it and made it, like, a whole thing, they could have, it could have been cool, maybe. But yeah, the way they get into it, it's just like, all of a sudden, he's jumping in and running through these trees, and the suits look insane. And you're just like, how is
crazy.
this? Like, is this technically sort of a fence?
They looked like rejected outfits from Apocalypto or something. It was
baffling.
Really bad.
Yeah, it was weird.
I don't know.
Maybe a little.
Like, why would you allow these frames into this movie? Like, that was a real point where I was just like, what are we doing?
I know. Amanda Dobbins, shout out, had this theory that he was with my mom in the Amazon researching spiders right before she died. She thinks that line was like AI, essentially. Is this movie AI? Was this script just like comic book movie AI generator?
AI generated your boyfriend's perfect movie.
The thing is, this movie was very, very bad, but I would say that it's probably better than anything AI could generate. The only problem with that is, then we wouldn't have gotten a whole movie where Tahar Rahim just kind of walks around and says, "These girls need to die. They're gonna kill me. They have powers. They don't now, but power later."
There's one like this that is like, "Whatever you are doing with this technology, I want you to do it better."
It's basically like that. That was probably verbatim. Like, there's so many parts like that, and it just made me into the movie because I was like, this is awesome. I can't wait to see this guy say stuff again.
You know nothing? Come see our movie.
I liked Jill Hennessy's vibe.
No, she killed it.
She did.
Right now,
She's fabulous.
This is perfect. I've seen like 4 movies this year, and she is firmly nominated for Best Supporting Actress. And she's the only one from Madam Web still nominated.
Wow.
So, like, good on her.
Yeah.
Shout out Wild Hogs.
Here's the thing. Right. I know. She looks great.
She really
looks
does.
fantastic. Sydney Sweeney is playing like a dorky virgin. Good one.
The first part where they show her on screen, it's just like, do you all realize how much money you could have made if you put this woman in a Spider-Man suit?
No. I'm also relieved that they didn't spend the whole movie in those outfits.
Yeah, because then there probably could have been some weird voodoo energy on this movie. So yeah,
New York City is a whole new level of crazy these days.
Especially with the way that this movie turned out so bad, like they probably would have bungled that to where it would be equally as bad.
They would have.
So yeah, that's probably a good call. We got saved from that. Maybe.
Yeah. Sydney Sweeney, I love her. I love Euphoria, and I love The White Lotus. Not right for this part. Celeste O'Connor's character, she's just pissed off.
She also likes to eat diner food.
Right. The other one likes math.
Yeah. And science.
Yes. There's a scene where they do CPR.
That was brilliant. And the way they set it up for the end, whenever they had to revive Madam Web, it was just like...
It's very much...
That's why I go to the movie.
It's very much the scene in They Came Together where Amy Poehler's like, you know, if I'm ever gonna run away and have an existential crisis and I need a place to run to clear my head, where do you think I would go? And he's like, if I had to take a guess, Boston. And she's like, no, the Brooklyn Promenade. And he's like, okay, noted.
And then he forgets it anyway.
Right. That was basically the CPR scene.
There's a lot of very obvious on-the-nose stuff that's very half-baked. And there's normal movie tropes that just go completely disastrous.
The soundtrack's okay. I haven't heard the song Scandalous since the movie Catwoman, which this is on par with, I would say.
New York City's a whole new level of crazy these days.
The only other really consequential thing at all to mention is just the way that this might possibly eventually tie into a Spider-Man movie is going to really piss me off almost no matter what they do with it. And like, if they somehow try to force this into the Tom Holland web of things.
Web?
Yeah, exactly. But then, like, what are we doing? Because that'll just really just be a real downer, because I don't want to have to connect these movies.
This movie is going to become the X-Men Origins Wolverine of Spider-Man movies. It exists. It's out there. We're never going to think about this again.
No, but we're going to have to periodically...
I don't think so.
We're going to periodically have to be like, remember Madam Web if they force it into the Tom Holland?
There is... Oh my god. You mean like if they do like another like No Way Home or something with like a multiverse?
If they connect the movie at all, we're going to periodically have to think about it.
I don't think so.
Not that we're going to spend any real thought in it. Because the Amazon have Spider people, it's like, then why does Spider-Man matter? Why is he so important? And like, they already sort of brushed his origin sort of aside because we've already seen it a bunch of times. But it's just, you get into so many silly things like that.
It's actually not the Spider-Man universe.
I don't think any of these movies have been good.
The only one of these movies
I know.
that I have liked on any
I'm
level
even going to kind of agree with you.
is Venom 2. Just
Yeah.
because it was pretty short, and they just were like, let's have some fun. Let's have fun with this movie. Like, Woody Harrelson played Carnage.
He's wonderful.
Like, Carnage, you could argue, if you cared about the comics, you know, deserved a better movie. But this version of it, fun Woody Harrelson,
Yeah,
like,
it's
in
him and
prison, he's
Naomi
Carnage.
Harris playing
Yeah.
like absolute lunatics.
Yeah,
and
and
I
it
was
was
like,
fun.
okay,
Yeah.
whatever. Now we got 2 more of them this year. We got Craven and we got Venom 3. If those movies don't take off, this has got to end, right? I mean, I know that like Sony will try because they have the
Yeah.
rights to Spider-Man.
I mean, I don't know. Like, I would assume they would have done this already because, like, why would you not? They need to just somehow figure out how to get the rights to, like, Andrew Garfield or Tobey Maguire. I know. And, like, make those movies. Like,
y'all,
like,
just make Spider-Man 4.
then it would be a win-win.
Let's
Like,
just f***ing do it.
like
We'd all go.
You could let them do their creative
I got
stuff
ideas.
While Disney's happy and doing their own Tom Holland thing.
Yeah.
Like, it would work.
Just do the
People
thing.
would see both movies.
I
Like,
know.
If people are going to see these villain things, which doesn't seem like a lot other than the Venom movies because those movies do make money, then, like, people would see, like, you know, hey, let's give this guy, or even just some random other actor, like, make him Spider-Man for these movies and, you know, let him do his thing.
Honestly, like the least weird thing that's happened all day.
Honestly, we could make this cool. We could make this so cool. And they just keep f***ing it up in baffling ways. Just make an actual movie. It's so f***ing backwards. It's stupid. These movies suck. Give these things thought.
Studio executives are so great at their jobs sometimes and also really not, because like the creative people are the ones that are going to make the things that are special, and trusting them is ultimately a risk, but you know, sometimes will really pay off.
As far as the rating goes for this movie, I will confidently give this movie a 1 out of 10. Arguably should rate it a little higher because I did have fun with it, with the ADR and stuff. But I feel like me giving it a 1 out of 10 is that. Because that's like a badge of honor. That's my rating, 1 out of 10. Madam Web was very bad, actually. Hot take.
I will give this a 2 out of 10. It's a really, really awful movie. But my God, will I watch this as soon as I can on Netflix? You bet your ass I will. I had a fantastic time. I laughed a lot. I've been hearing this accusation that some people just find this movie boring. And I'm like,
Don't get that at all.
no, you can hate it. And you should, because it's, you know...
Very bad.
It's very bad and poorly executed and ill-conceived and stupid and poorly acted and an all-around shit show. But it's not boring. I was thoroughly entertained. Yeah. We didn't really dive into all the Ben Parker stuff either.
They didn't either.
Touche.
I thought, like, the best Ben Parker part was at the end whenever Spider-Man was born. But they were just like, he's great or something like that. Just some filler adjective. And I really was like, it would have been so awesome if they just leaned into it. And then he was just like, he's amazing. And then Emma was just like, yeah, he's the ultimate. And then he's just like, he's spectacular. And then they just like ran through like all the comic runs.
Wouldn't have been
It would have been
surprised.
so fun if that just went on for like 2 minutes. I think that is my one real addition to the movie that would have improved it greatly. So Sony not asking me my opinion and my inputs really failed there, because that would have gone viral.
You have to trust me.
So yeah, those were our thoughts on Madam Web.
I'm looking forward to the sequel.
Most of the time I'm joking.